Guys. Okay. I think you guys can hear me now. Yeah? Um yeah, I was hacked. Oh my god, I was hacked. No, I wasn't. um yeah, I don't know why. I went on earlier and I was buffering a lot and I was having all these issues and blah 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 and I don't know what the fuck's going on with that, but whatever. And now it's like where I'm at, it's like 2:45 in the morning. So I'm definitely not going to be on long because I'm usually getting ready for bed about this time because I work till about midnight and I come home and maybe I'll eat something or whatever. But uh, instead, I was here fiddling around with my computer uh, and getting super annoyed and irritated with it. But there's one thing I wanted to discuss, um, which was um, when we're kids, we're taught to not talk to strangers, right? Which is actually it's a good rule. It's a great it's a great thing to teach our children in order to keep them safe. Because there are, as we know, this being a true crime community, we understand that there are predators out there, and now more than ever, there's human traffickers out there. I mean, it's really fucked up out there. It's really bad. Um, but um, as an adult, um, I think that kind of just sticks with us subconsciously to a certain degree when we're adults, and inadvertently and unintentionally, it creates a bubble around each of us, and um, it also creates a necessary boundary, but also an unnecessary boundary as well to a certain degree. Um, oh, hey, pretty peaches. Wow. Okay. Well, um, I'm glad you were listening to the last one. Yeah, that was kind of crazy, man. Sorry about how loud it was when it started. um, I I was just it was I needed some illustration to make my point. So I apologize for how irritating that was. But in any case, I'm talking about how uh, when when we're kids, we're taught, to not talk to strangers, and that's a good thing. We teach our children that, and we have to protect our kids, and it's important um, that that our kids are safe. It's important that we're safe as kids, obviously. But as adults, um, I kind of wish, and I've kind of been messing with that a little bit, and maybe it's because I don't know if it has to do with me being a man, and uh, since I'm a man, I guess I'm less likely to be kidnapped and hurt and any of the horrible things that happens um, uh, to people when there's the danger of talking to somebody that you don't know on the street. I get that, but I lately what I do since I've uh, been trying to self improve. Um, for example, I find myself in a public place or at my job or wherever. And if I'm entering or exiting a building, um, if I see somebody coming up, obviously we all do this, but obviously if somebody's right there, the kind thing to do is to hold the door open for them, right? But I sometimes there's that awkward moment where somebody is just far enough to where it's like there's a cutoff point. There's a cutoff where you're just like, you know what, I'm going to be standing here too long waiting for them to get here. So I'm not going to hold the door open for them, and they're not going to think I'm a dick for not holding the door open for them. But I'll lately what I'll do is I'll go through that in my head where I'll be like, oh, you know what, they're so far away. But then I tell myself, you know what, I wonder what'll happen. I wonder if it would you know resonate with that person if I took the extra moment, that extra 10 seconds to stand here and hold the door open for them. And having doing that, just that extra 10 seconds, 9 out of 10 times, that person will really appreciate it. They'll look at me and be like, "Wow, thank you." You know, they'll be like, "Wow, thank you so much." Um, and and one lady once was like, "You know what, sir? That absolutely made my day. Thank you so much for that." And um, and that made me feel really, really good. So ever since that happened, I just made it a point to always do that. Um, and I recently, um, it got me thinking that a lot of times people will walk by and they'll hey bee stinger, um, people will walk by and um, you know and you kind of pretend like you don't really notice them. Most of the time we nod at them and smile, or you give them that half smile. You know what I mean? And uh, there's this one guy who he's like I said, as you guys know, I work at a fitness club, and um, there's this one guy who is a member there, and his name is Mr. Spoon. Uh, he's really, really, really nice guy, but he's older, and he's southern, and I don't know anything about his past. I get the feeling that he cuts his own hair. I mean, I cut my own hair. I mean, I just figured out how to do it because I was like, you know what? Like, that's a ridiculous thing to spend my money on. I'm not that vain. You know, I get a pair of clippers. I learned how to kind of fade a little bit, and um, so you know, and but the first impression you get from this guy when you look at him, you just kind of like, fuck, uh, I kind of you don't think it necessarily, like you don't necessarily think it, but you kind of feel like I don't really want to get stuck talking to this guy. Um, and I and what happens is I go all the way. It's a club, and most places that I've ever been, you either go out back to smoke a cigarette, or you just stand out in the front and you smoke a cigarette. But since I work at a fitness club and it's a fitness club, you don't necessarily want the members to see you smoking. So what I do, there's no back door. So what I do is I go out the front and then I walk all the way around to the back of the building. Um, and I actually had to tell this guy to do that one time because somebody complained about him smoking. And which I thought was ridiculous, but it's my job, and I'm just like, you know what, I don't care. I'm a smoker. You know what I do? I go right back here. So if you ever want to smoke, during your workout. And this guy will spend all day at the gym working out. And he's this older guy. He's got to be in his 60s, but he's in good shape because he works out all the time. And I remember him telling me one time when I was back there that he was having trouble finding work, um, and he kind of talks like this, and he was like, I'm having some trouble trying to find work, and I don't think anybody really is interested in hiring an old crippled weightlifter. And, he's got kind of a limp, and he's a real nice guy. Um, so I catch myself out back there, and I'll go back there to smoke a cigarette, and then I'll see him, and it's still like that asshole in me that I used to be. It still kind of triggers for a second, and I go, fuck, shit, because I really just kind of, that's my alone time. That's my moment where I smoke a cigarette and I don't want to be bothered, and I don't necessarily want to be engaged in a conversation with anyone. But every time I end up in a conversation with the guy, it's always pleasant. Um, and and I loved the conversation I had with the guy today because we talked last time, and uh, last time I ran into him, it was about a week ago. He was back there smoking a cigarette when I was. It was about a week ago, and he says, I asked him how everything was going. He's like, "Oh, it's all right. I got a job at that Burger King outfit, right right around the corner over here, and uh, you know, I I they got me doing, they got me doing a lot of work." And I said, "Well, what do they got you doing?" Because normally, I mean, I come from the food industry, and I come from management. I have a lot of management experience in the food industry, mostly in pizza joints, but Burger King was my very first job, so I kind of understood. And he says, he says, I said, "Well, what do they got you doing?" Uh, and he says, "Oh, they got me making the French fries, and they got me cooking the burgers through the machine there, and because they got like a conveyor oven where they flame broil the burgers, right? But it's like a conveyor oven, and it's not really flame bread. I mean, it's a conveyor oven. It's not." But he's like, "Yeah, they got me doing that. They got me washing the windows. They got me cleaning the tables. They got me mopping the floor. They got me washing the dishes." And he is just naming everything, cleaning the bathrooms, everything. And I was like, "Well, they got you doing all that?" I was like, "They don't have. I mean, are you guys understaffed?" And he's like, "No, no, there's plenty of people there, but nobody wants to do anything." And and immediately I believed him, And I thought for a second I was like, I was about to just kind of defend him and get him to start defending himself a little bit, get him hyped up and get him to be like, "You know what, man? Next time you're in there, tell them you don't fucking. That's not your job to do everything. They got other people there. It shouldn't all fall on you." And I didn't even get around to saying that. I didn't even get around to saying all that stuff before he was like, "Yeah, they got me doing all this sort of thing, and nobody else wants to do it. But the way I see it is that's job security right there. If I'm willing to do everything that nobody else is willing to do, well, hell, that makes me a lot more valuable than anybody else there." And right there, I was like floored. I was like, "Man, that is fucking right. That is damn right, dude." And immediately, like, I just loved this guy. I thought that was the greatest thing in the world. Um, it made my day. It really made my day. And I go back, and I again, I tell him, "All right, well, I got to get back inside, uh, and I got to get back to work." And he's He's all right. Well, I'll talk to you later. You know. And today I go back there and I'm like, hey, Mr. Spoon, how's it going? You know. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I was thinking about that conversation you and I had last time. And I remember actually talking to him. I remember I left this part out is that I was like, well, that's poor management. They're not distributing the work evenly. You know, that's poor management. I blame the management. Um, and he's like, yeah, maybe, but as long as I get to stay busy and as long as they, you know, I'm if I'm doing the work that nobody else is willing to do, well then I'm always gonna have a job. And I was like, you're exactly right with that. You're exactly right with that, man. That is absolutely correct. Um, so I I I end up I end up going back there today, and he's like, "What? You were absolutely right about that, and it's it's bad management in there." And I was like, "Yeah, what happened there, Mr. Stone?" He says, "Well, we they don't they don't even care. They they're running out of food. They got customers getting mad. We had a man, big man, and you could tell this wasn't the kind of man you wanted to make angry, and they made him angry, and he about jumped over the counter and and demanded his money back for his food. And he didn't explain the whole situation, but he was like, "Yeah, the manager didn't even want to help him." I was like, "Oh shit." I was like, "Well, that's crazy." You know, and I wasn't surprised because I've actually had an experience at that Burger King where I walked into that Burger King. That's the second time that happened to me at a fast food joint. Once it happened to me in Atlanta at a KFC, and then it happened to me here at that Burger King that he's talking about, where I went and I ordered a Whopper, and they fucking told me they were out of Whopper meat, and I was like, you look, you better get four patties and put them together or something. You know, four small patties. I don't give a shit. And they were like, "No, we can't do that." And I was like, and I was already talking to the manager. You know, so I was annoyed. I was annoyed and I left and I didn't get my food. And I was really, you know how when you get a craving for something, very rarely do you just happen to see a Burger King and go, you know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna go eat Burger King. You sit there and you think, okay, I want some fast food, especially if you're me and you're health conscious, and eating fast food is a very rare thing. So you're thinking about like, what fast food am I gonna eat? Am I gonna get Wendy's? Am I gonna get McDonald's? Am I gonna get Sonic? What am I gonna get? And I was set on Burger King, and you can imagine my disappointment and frustration when I went in there and had that experience, and I didn't even get to walk out with it. I didn't even get to walk out with food that was unsatisfying. That was yeah, Devil Mike, no Whopper. What the fuck? Exactly. What in the actual fuck? Like that's like when I was running a fucking pizza joint. You know, somebody walks in and I say we're out of dough. How the fuck am I going to tell somebody right to their face that we don't have any dough? That's crazy. That's crazy. That's craziness. So can you imagine not even being a manager and you're one of those people that work there? I mean, that's just bad for everybody. If you're one of those people who knows that's fucked up and you just happen to work there and you got to sit there and look somebody right in the face and tell them that you don't have the number one selling thing that they have, the main thing that people go in there to buy, you don't have it. You got to tell them that and just kind of shrug your shoulders and be like, "I'm sorry, we don't have it." You know, you're the face of the establishment, and you gotta yeah, Devil Mike, exactly, like no pepperoni. What the fuck is that? What kind of shit is that? So it's enough to piss you off. You know, your mind is set on eating this food. So Mr. Spoon, he's like, yeah, they're always running out of food, and I just can only imagine if I had decided, to be a dick and not engage in conversation with this guy. Now when I'm telling you this story, it's not that interesting of a story. I realize that. But I was blown away, and I felt, I found it incredibly refreshing to know that this older man was so grateful just to have a job at Burger King and do anything that they asked him to do. And on his free time, with his money that he earns, makes it a point to spend it at the gym, working out and bettering himself. I don't know what his past is like. I don't know what any of that is like. What's up, AJ? Hey AJ, before you go, real quick, man, did you? I don't know why I can't message you on on Facebook. I don't know. Did you block me or something? I don't. People block me all the time for shit that I don't even realize I did. But I don't know. I tried to message you and I tried to send you a meme that I made, but it doesn't matter. You could actually see the meme in my last live because I borrowed your video that you posted about Mary Marlowe, and made it. Oh, you deleted Facebook. That makes sense. Um, yeah, I borrowed your video that you made and put it on my at the beginning of my last live, and it was kind of a hit, but it also wasn't. Like I lost a few subscribers over it, just because of how loud I think Mary Marlowe was. But at the same time, a lot of my regular listeners seem to really like it. Um, but yeah, yeah, no, you're welcome. Thanks for posting it because yeah, that Mary Marlowe, man, she is something else. Um, but I going back to Mr. Spoon, and what I was talking about, I was just really grateful to talk to this man who seemed to have this very similar attitude that I am always making a conscious effort to have. So it's if I genuinely feel like as adults, as grown-ups, it's okay to kind of it's okay to kind of let your guard down just a little bit. It's okay to make that bubble that we keep ourselves in just a little bit thin. Oh, I'm not worried about that, AJ. I mean, you lose and gain subscribers all the time. That's just how it is. I'm not going to do something that everybody likes every time. It's you know. But it was just it was. I'm just making the observation that it happened, and I thought it was pretty funny. um, but yeah, I, I I think it's okay to thin out that bubble a little bit. You know, just let just use your better judgment when you come across new people, because I think it's a really really good thing to. I think it's a really good beautiful thing to accidentally engage in just random conversation with a total stranger. Obviously, use your common sense to be safe about it. Make sure you're in a public place. Make sure there's people around you. People can see you. But even if you're at your job and you're dealing with people every day, you know, do yourself a favor, man, and make a little bit of small talk with them. Um, because I think a lot of the problem that we have today in society it stems from that thing that we're taught as children of never talking to strangers, and we kind of grow up with that habit. We kind of grow up with that mindset, and everybody just kind of and I'm not even talking about technology and people buried in their cell phones, their faces buried in their cell phones. I'm not talking about that. That doesn't matter. That's not a big deal. Hey, Save Robbie. Wow, I'm really shocked that so many people are in this chat at this time of night. Like, this is usually I'm usually in bed about a half hour ago, but I got really frustrated with my OBS. It was acting up, and I couldn't get on before, and so I said, you know what? Fuck that. I'm going on late as fuck, and even if there's two people in my goddamn chat, I'm fucking going on. So here I am. But I'm glad everybody's here. Thanks for joining me this late at night. Um, but I yeah, so I find it I think it's really really nice, man. When I think it's really really nice when every time I do that, it's a nice experience. Like there's this, I went to Walmart the other day, and and it was Thanksgiving evening, right? Um, and uh, I went and I grabbed a few munchies, and when as I was leaving, there was a kid that worked at Walmart, and he's outside, and he's really nice, and he's got a genuine smile, and and he was like, hey, are you enjoying your Black Friday? And I was like, well, I mean, yeah, in the sense that I'm not participating in it. Sure, yeah. um, hey, Hartley. Um, and oh, thanks, Space Monster 621. That's funny. Um, but yeah, this kid, he's like, "Are you enjoying your Black Friday?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, kind of. You know, I wasn't doing any like Christmas shopping or anything." And I was like, "Well, are you? You know, it sucks that you got to work, man. I mean, I guess you guys are super super busy." And sorry, guys, it's late. And he's like, yeah, he's like, and as soon as he started talking, I could kind of tell that he was special needs. He seemed to me, I'm not a doctor, but he seemed to me to be mildly autistic, maybe, but very, very, very kind, very personable, smiling, had a natural way of wanting to be helpful to people, which I found refreshing. And when he was asking me if I was enjoying Black Friday, he was being genuine. He wasn't just doing his job, you know. Um, and so he's like, yeah. He's like, I'm just counting until the Crisis on Infinite Earth saga. And right there, I was like, oh yeah, because I hadn't heard anybody actually talk about it, and that's one of my dirty little secrets is that I'm actually somewhat excited about that, even though like I don't watch Flash or Green Arrow or any of that stuff. But it's this, he starts to explain it to me as if he just assumed that I didn't know what it was. And he's like, yeah, there's Crisis of Infinite Earth saga. It's going to be a series of programs on the CW, and it's going to have a crossover of all these different superheroes that they never had. And I stopped him, and I was like, yeah, I know all about it. I was like, yeah, they got Brandon Routh playing Superman in there, like like a different version of Superman. And um you've got the Smallville guy playing Superman in another alternate universe. And then we just had this full on nerd comic book nerd conversation, because I read Crisis on Infinite Earths comic books when I was a kid, and I was like super excited about it. So I got into this really engaging conversation with this kid about this whole thing, um, and he was so cool, and he was smiling and happy, and then he pulls out his phone to start showing me, well, there's gonna have this and this and this, and I'm standing there with like two bags of groceries, and I'm just like, okay, but I didn't I didn't care. I was just into what this kid was saying. And he and the kid had on his cell phone, he literally had the Brandon Routh Superman Returns, the Bryan Singer Superman, as the wallpaper on his phone, which I'd never seen anyone have that. That's the Superman nobody wants to remember. So, in case I don't know if any of you are into that stuff, I'm guessing by this chat that probably not many, if any at all. But uh, it was just really, really funny that he had that, and I was just loving the fact that I met this kid. Um, and it's amazing how that works for a business because honestly, at this point, like I honestly can't wait for the next time I go to Walmart, and I'm hoping to run into this kid and talk a little bit more with him. Uh, so I'm really really um I'm really hoping to actually uh, express that um, I think it's a beautiful thing to take a little time. Obviously use your discretion. You have to be safe. There's I know that a good amount of my listeners are women, so I definitely don't want you to put yourself in any danger. But it's real easy for us to have that guard up and to just not want to be bothered by other people. But if you go into a conversation with an open mind with an absolute stranger, chances are you'll actually enjoy it if you let yourself. Um, and I really, I definitely experience that um, 9 out of 10 times whenever I do that. Um, and that might go into a lot of reason why I'm doing this. I'm actually I was never into the Power Rangers Space Monster. I never got it. They were right after my you know they came around right at the end of the death of Saturday morning cartoons. And I so I never got into Power Rangers. I was really into the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles though. Um, but it's really fun to meet people, regardless of what they're into or whatever. There's probably a good chance that you'll relate to them to some degree. Uh, if you allow yourself and you're open to a certain degree and let a little bit of your guard down in just a pleasant small talk conversation, you'll probably be pleasantly surprised, and you might even make a friend. You might even make a friend. Um, so uh, I think. Um, wait. I'm stopping this conversation right now, Robbie. There is nothing so awesome in all caps about the new Power Rangers movie. I will say that it was the most entertaining of all the Power Ranger stuff because I did make it a point to watch it. I did watch it, but it was I thought it was a nice steaming pile of caca. I was not into it. Um, and and I'm not judging you. I'm not. You're into what you're into. That's cool. And I'm pretty sure Batman doesn't sell Thrive. So yeah, I hate to be a dream wrecker, but uh, at the same time, you wrecked my Santa Claus dreams. So I think we're probably even. So I'm sorry, Batman doesn't sell Thrive, homie. It's not happening. Uh, yeah, yeah. Robbie here in the chat, guys, uh, thinks it's okay to wreck people's dreams and say that Santa Claus isn't real, and that's a bunch of bullshit, and it makes me mad. But I'm just kidding. No, man, there's nothing wrong with the whole Santa Claus thing. There's nothing wrong with the whole Santa Claus thing. But anyway, agree to disagree, Robbie. Anyway, um, Jesus Christ, AJ, listen, man, dude, if I have to fucking if I have to get up to the North Pole myself, put a gun to Santa's head and say, "Hey, listen, I got some non-believers down there. I need you to come out here and I need you to thump some people's skulls for them and let them know you're real." Don't listen to him. Count me in. Don't you listen to him. Don't you listen to him. Count me in. He's very, very real. It's just the Thrive talking. It's just the Thrive talking. I never saw the 15-minute Dark Power Rangers YouTube clip. Yeah, I will agree with you there. I do think that there are some. I do think that there are some really cool fan made stuff that people do. Like YouTube is an amazing place, man. YouTube is just a haven for talented people. So I think it's really, really, really cool. Um, but Mrs. Claus is my old meth dealer. um, but yeah, I don't know. Hold on. Yeah, Hartley, Easter Bunny is not happy with Robbie. But yeah, I'm digging this crowd here in the chat. It's not a lot of my usuals at all, but I actually love that. There's only a couple familiar faces here, but I actually love that because I'm learning that I could go on at literally any given time that I fucking feel like it, and I'll have people to chat with. Um, and yeah, that's the other thing. Like, look at this. Like, here I get this. I have this channel, and I get to talk with people who are were once strangers and no longer are. So so yeah, the whole point of me coming on tonight and talking and what I'm talking about is you know when you think that you're just kind of just going about your business and doing your own thing without even realizing it, you could be missing out on some really cool interactions with people. Um, and and the ironic part of not talking to of the whole stigma of not talking to strangers, the whole point of that is to be safe, right? Protect yourself because you don't know if somebody could be a shitbag that wants to hurt people. But the ironic part about that, the other side of that coin, is most people aren't shitty. Most people aren't out to hurt you. And in theory, if you take the time to actually make some small talk with some people and get to know them a little bit, um, especially people that you see all the time. Like, say you're a regular in a particular business establishment, some place where you pick up your coffee every day, or some place where you go to eat once a week. Um, Make small talk with the people that you see there all the time, because the other side to that coin that I was talking about is the the more people that we know on a personal level, the safer we are because we're more likely to protect each other. Isn't that fair to say? Isn't it fair to think that yeah, I mean, we're gonna we're gonna keep ourselves safe normally by staying in our little bubble and just going about our business, and you're definitely playing it safe. But I say take a little risk. I say take a little risk. You know, take that little bit of risk to get to know somebody, get to know as many people as you can, just a little bit. I'm not saying to exchange numbers and you know get a bowling game together. I mean, if you want to do that, that's cool. But I'm saying I'm not trying to I'm not trying to encourage everyone to necessarily do something like that. I'm saying that the more people that you are on a somewhat personal level with, and everywhere you go, the more likely you are to actually be safe, right? So, uh, yeah, yeah. So I was thinking about that, and I thought that I would share that with you guys. And I'm really glad that you were here to listen to it. Especially at fucking 3:30 in the morning. What the fuck are you people doing up? I have a job that lets me out at midnight. I don't know what the fuck you people are doing. What's your excuse? You guys aren't Mary Marlowe, and you're not pulling a Mary Marlowe, are you? Sitting there blowing down rails and smoking rocks. I sure hope not. But hey, if you are, go knock on your neighbor's door and see if they want a line. I'm totally kidding. Don't do that. Don't get shot, and don't get the cops called on you. No, but anyway, I think you guys are fucking fantastic, and every day that I'm doing this, uh, and every day I go on and I chat with you guys, I enjoy it a little bit more. Oh, how many people? Hey, give me a thumbs up if you're in Australia right now. Give me a thumbs up because I know I've got a yeah. And give me a thumbs up and give me a time. Uh, Give me a time with an AM or PM specific time that where it is, where it is where you're at right now. Because I'm fascinated by that. I love the fact that I'm talking to people on an international level. It's so cool. Okay, so Bee Stinger's in Australia. Count Me In is in Australia. And Audrey's working. Audrey has a job. So Audrey's in the same boat I'm at. So wow, okay, so Space Monster's also in Australia. And wow, man, that's super cool. And Devil Mike is in England, 8:25 a.m. And not military time, man. I can't fucking tell military time. People, I'm stupid. Give me military time. Wow, that's crazy. That's so cool, man. That is so cool. Yeah, one of my mods, Mignon, she's in Australia too. All my other mods are in America, and they don't even they're never in my they're never in my lives anymore. Yet we sit there and talk shit in our chat all the time. But most of the time they're talking about girl stuff that I'm just like, okay, like they talk about hair coloring and nail polish, and I'm like, all right. So I'm rarely ever talking to them. But I'm glad that this channel was able to bring them together. So I love that. Um, where is Colorado, Bee Stinger? Well, okay, I'm in Oh, geez, how do I even explain that? I'm also geographically stupid. Um, Colorado is in the northern end of the United States, northwest. Um, yeah, it is a cool name, Space Monster. Yeah, she's very special and very sweet. But yeah, this is a pretty cool thing. This is why I don't make videos and post them. Like this is the epitome as to why I don't like make videos and post them. A, because like I suck at it. Like people like Audrey here will make you look fucking terrible because she's amazing at making videos. Um, but uh, me personally, I just really prefer this interaction. I absolutely love it. So it's really, really, really cool to me. I guess maybe Colorado is. I told you I was geographically stupid. I could be wrong. I mean, I yeah, I don't know exactly if it's Midwest. Um, but yeah, let's see. Um, yeah, Colorado is definitely the true crime capital lately, man. You got the Watts case, you got the Frazee case. People are fucking acting a fool out there, man. Like, yeah, man. Yeah, Audrey, you can make me videos whenever you want, dude. That would be great. I'm a big fan of videos. I hate the music you use for them, um, but you're really good at editing these videos, man. It's pretty fantastic. But I can't really think of anything um, that I want to make a video about necessarily. Um, but man, yeah, that's super cool. I'm probably gonna like I think I'm the only one using OBS anymore. Um, yeah, definitely, guys. If you guys like to see if you if you guys like to see uh, um, some fun, informative, exposing videos of Mary Marlowe, uh, AJ's like really good at making those, and they're pretty entertaining. Cause yeah, as far as I'm concerned, Mary Marlowe is the most full of shit person on YouTube right now. And she's absolutely wacky. So, but yeah, man, you guys are the goods. You guys are definitely the goods. But yeah, I think I'm gonna hit the sack, man. Um, I really enjoyed talking with you guys. But yeah, if you guys, man, I don't know, like, if you're not subscribed to me, please subscribe. Um, and and go ahead and check out some of my past videos. I actually talked about there was a couple of episodes or a couple of lives I did um, a few months ago where I talked about the stabbing that took place there in Sydney, Australia. That was fucking crazy. Um, and I loved that that citizens intervened in that, and it was like citizens that took him down. And there was video footage of it too, and I didn't post the videos of that, but I didn't know how to use what I was using very well at all. Um, but yeah, yeah, bee stinger. You were there for that bee stinger. That's right. And the milk crate chair capture, exactly, count me in. Um, uh, oh, you heard my live, or you're just talking about the story itself? Um, yeah, I'm curious about that. But yeah, if you've yeah, I would check that out because I'm actually kind of proud of the stuff I was talking about. I had some strong opinions about certain details about that case, and and I like when things kind of get me talking about other things. That's funny. Yeah, well, what I loved about that is that these guys, as angry as they were, because you could hear it in the video, you could hear them like they were calling the guy a dog, and they were angry and they wanted to hurt him, but they showed such restraint. Um, they absolutely showed restraint and made sure not only to subdue this person so that he wouldn't hurt anyone else, but they did it in a manner to where he wouldn't hurt himself because they wanted this man to answer for what he did. They wanted justice for what he did, and they wanted it the right way. And it was a very, very good example that even in the heat of adrenaline pumping through these men, they still kept their heads and made sure to maintain this guy and detain him uh, safely. But it was amazing. Yeah, it was absolutely amazing, and I was really, really impressed. It was I love when humans pleasantly surprise me. I love that shit. So yeah, but I really appreciate all the likes, guys. Thank you for that. And I and hey, Sleuths Investigate. What the hell are you doing awake right now? Oh yeah, and guys, listen, man. Sleuths Investigate. She's dope. She totally posted a video recently. It was a short video about an unsolved murder. Um, and I think it was in Oklahoma. Or am I confusing that with Mandy's case? I know Mandy's case was Oklahoma, but I'm wondering if I'm saying Oklahoma just because it's that's in my head. Um, but but yeah, there's she posted this short video about this one very, very pretty girl who was stabbed to death in I think 1980, I think it was, or 1981, something like that. Um, and it was incredible. Like, it's very, very informative. Like, I really look forward to more videos from you, Sleuths. Most definitely. I love your videos. Or at least I love that one for the most part. Or I love that one altogether. But I'm definitely interested in seeing more videos. So I can't wait. Oh, Shari's a new face. Hi, Shari. Where are you located, Shari? I love this, guys. I absolutely right now I'm absolutely loving that it's like an ungodly hour, and I'm seeing new faces that I kind of get to and I get to say hi and get to know. Oh, you're in Maryland. Okay. Right on. Um I'm absolutely loving this, guys. I really appreciate you guys logging on at this time of night. But I am beat, man, and I'm gonna go to bed. Um, but Yeah, I would imagine they do take you a while to put together because Sleuth, it really sounds like you really do your homework and gather facts for those things, and to be able to summarize them and condense them in such a short period of, in such a short video, so that it's to the point and very informative. I absolutely love that. Um, so I'm gonna be watching your videos regularly. Absolutely. And if you want to, if any time that there's a case that you put together and you want to actually talk about live, I'll do a whole live with you on them on this channel if you want. Um, and discuss this stuff with you because I'm fascinated by that stuff, especially cold cases, and I love the idea of getting the word out on these cold cases. So, absolutely, like if you ever want to do that, I would be so thrilled to do that with you. I would be absolutely thrilled. Spacey invited the Aussies over to my channel. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, man. I'm a very Aussie friendly channel. So, yeah. Well, that's okay. Well, yeah, it sucks that you can't go live, but I'm more than happy to go live with you on my channel. If there's stuff that you want to discuss, I think that would be super fun, and I think it would be really cool. So I will check out that. I will check out that video. I'm not doing it tonight because I'm about to hit the sack. Uh, but um, I absolutely love this. I loved this tonight. I really didn't expect so many people to show up in the chat. Um, this was really pleasant, and I'm gonna sleep so good tonight. Um, but guys, I love you very much, and remember, man, uh, modify that bubble a little bit. You know, make make uh, make some make some new acquaintances. Because if we make new acquaintances, chances are that we're gonna have more of a chance to protect each other from shitty things that are going on around us. So uh, let's get in that mindset of protecting each other. I think it's a wonderful thing. Um, so yeah, uh, it's okay to talk to strangers. Just be careful. That's all. All right, guys. I love you guys very much. Thank you, and I will talk to you probably tomorrow. Maybe I'll go on again tomorrow. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Um, but I'm really enjoying this. So have a good night, guys.